we got the beams and columns in, and let's do a little coordination. So if I go to top of slab here, we come in and take a look, well, you're going to notice that some of these walls are not quite lining up, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my default linear dimension style, and I'm going to edit that type to make it easier to read. So I'm going to change, first of all, the color to, I usually do a red, which works for me, but you can choose whatever color works best for you. And then I'm going to take the line weight up to like a 5 and click OK. And you're going to be able to see those dimensions a lot more clearly now. And so you can see that this dimension seems to be correct, right, from the face of this to this. Actually, I think should be there, right? So this could be in 1/2 inch, right? This looks like it might be a 1/2 inch off, which might get us what we need here, right? So if I pick this guy and change this dimension to 4 feet, right, that almost gets us where we need to be, right? It looks like we're a little bit off. So what that means is that the piers underneath should line up exactly with the walls, and for some reason they're not. It could be modeling error or it could be structural, but it's something that you would need to go in and take a look at where it's off, and if it matters that it's off, right? So let's take a look at the other ones. This one's pretty close, right? You could go in and sort of start dimensioning to where that's supposed to be. So if I take another linear dimension, oh, there it is right there already, right? So let's pick this guy and move it out. So this is supposed to be 10'6". It looks like from the outside of this to the outside of that. So let's pick that guy and change it to 10'6", right? Looks like it is lining up a little bit. Whoops. Right? Almost there. It looks like everything's just a tiny bit off, and so I'm not sure where that little offset is coming from. Again, you can kind of come in and look at this one. These are perfect, so that's great. This one is off a bit, so that would mean that this wall is off a bit, which it could be. At some point you have to make a decision. You would go through a whole coordinating process to find out, where those piers are in relation to these columns and the walls. For right now, I could come in and do like this dimension. We could come in and pull it sort of to the outside of that guy, and that's giving us 21'6", which is supposedly correct. And if this wall moves, then that wall would move, and we don't want that. So in some instances, in this case, I'm just going to do an align command, and I'm going to align to the center of the wall, the center of that column, and make sure that everything else is fine. A little eccentricity on that foundation is not going to be terrible, but you want to make sure this one looks like it's lining up okay, right? The outside and the inside. Who knows if this guy should really be like that or even at the edge of that, but the horizontal, it just looks like the vertical was off a little bit, right? Like you really want these columns in the center of this. So I would go in and adjust them, make sure they're in a good place. We can always mess with them later, but again, it would be a coordination issue that you would bring up with your structural engineer and figure out how to most efficiently get those in the right place so you don't end up having to move walls or adjust for things later.